I'm Ari Aster.
I'm Pedro Pascal. Right. He's Joaquin Phoenix.
And we're doing a scene breakdown for Eddington.
We never talked about it. No. No? Can we just talk? Just the two of us?
We are. Something electric happened while we were shooting, which is, I guess, common for New Mexico, where it goes from like sunny and hot to like hail within like 7 minutes. And so we started shooting and setting up that day, and it was like a beautiful sunny day. And just almost immediately, this like dark cloud, which you see in the background, that's all real, that rolled in. And the wind was blowing so hard, and it was still early enough in the shoot where the hat for Joe is such an important part of who he is. It's his identity, right? And it means so much to him, and it's really kind of like this this identifying figure of power. And so it felt important to me to have the hat on in this scene. And the wind comes and is like constantly threatening to blow it off my head, which Joe and I would be really embarrassed if that were to happen.
That's incredible.
And so it just became about surviving this with like as much dignity as possible, right? Which is exactly what the character is experiencing. And so the beauty of it was there was all this work, there was months and years of discussion with Ari about the scene. It was working with you in advance. And then there was this moment of just hanging on.
Utterly
and
spontaneous.
Being a part of what was transpiring. And there was something electric. And Ari felt that. I could feel Ari starting to shake as he does when things start really moving and like literally physically start shaking. And because you were like, you could sense that there was something in the air, and you were trying to capture every possibility that might come. Like we wouldn't have left except we had to.
And I hadn't had my snack, so I was shaking.
Right, yeah.
But the weather in New Mexico is so erratic, and we were gonna have to take everything back inside because rain was coming. So we didn't have any time. I didn't have any time to give you guys notes. So we did, I think, 9 takes, and this was take 8, what we used. And I had to just run out to you guys, give you the note, and then run back. And it's a Technocrane shot, so but it wasn't safe to have the Technocrane out there because the wind was blowing so hard. And so we barely got those last 2 takes, but this was the most technically flawed take because the camera is shaking a lot. And I was told that the sound would be unusable.
Yeah.
But I still thought, even with bad sound, that I think that has to be the one because it just was alive. And
I felt like the one in doing it. I remember that feeling. With the weather and everything, it wasn't just like wind. It like the temperature dropped like dramatically, and it became freezing, and the hat being blown off is incredible because it did get blown off, and then you realize that you had to keep it in place or it would get blown off.
Right, but why wouldn't you just like it has to stay on top
brilliant
of his head?
because then
about this. It wasn't even like a plan.
That's incredible because then Ted wins if your hat gets blown off.
Okay. So maybe I just talk to your video. Ask where all your deputies went.
Okay, well, why not just ask your governor about her little catch and release policy, okay? Because if it wasn't for that, maybe I could hold on to my deputies and the people we arrest.
I know one of them was fired for excessive force and another one was forced to quit by a YouTube First Amendment auditor.
I was gratified to see the chemistry that you both had. Because I feel like you guys became kind of instant friends, but I also but you never know when two people are going to work well together, and when where there's going to be like kind of a life between two people that that is just easy. And I found that your scenes together were incredibly fun to shoot, and just kind of there was just an energy that didn't need to be
manufactured.
fabric. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's funny because it's nothing but an antagonistic. It's no relationship were it not for its antagonism, and I think Joaquin's gonna hate this, but like obviously I was nervous, and obviously I was intimidated, and stepping into it with like an overwhelming amount of admiration, and thank God I'm like, you know, old and lazy. Because so that I didn't feel like so that I couldn't really occupy too much energy on feeling like something needed to be proved, right? I knew it was like, this is going to be what it is, you know. I love the director, I love the actor, and beyond that, I don't know what to expect. But it being having I think I was like just really overwhelmed with gratitude, because I found the both of you to be very, very generous, and it was just fun to do, in that like having a scene partner and getting to kind of dance. And I say it's corny, but that's what it feels like. I don't want to compete. I don't want to manufacture tension. I don't want to. I want to understand it dramaturgically, and then I want to do our job. And it just so fun to do. I could have shot that. The weather didn't allow us to shoot it as many times as I would have liked to, because it was just really fun to act with him.
That is so sweet, and you're lying.
I'm not lying.
Oh,
I'm not
what
lying.
I remember very clearly is
here
that
come the lies.
the first time that I walked out of the door in my costume and walked towards you, you started laughing uncontrollably. I did, and I was like, "Hold on, I'm sheriff. No, why is he laughing at me?"
I did start laughing, but it was impossible to explain. I can't tell you.
No.
It was just I was too excited. I swear.
You were seeing the real me, and that
You have your story. You have your
I hurt
story.
my feelings. It made me insecure, and it was perfect for the scene. It was exactly what I needed.
This is disgusting.
It's the truth, though. I did start laughing. I did.
So that's what you always want as an actor. You want the other actor, when you walk out and say the first line, you want the other actor to laugh at you.
I did. I started laughing.
It definitely felt like when I started shooting with Pedro, it definitely felt like I certainly felt a history. Like I had this feeling of a long and complicated history with somebody. The Garcias were a big deal in Eddington.
Yeah.
Since I was very young, and he's also so handsome.
Oh.
And then I walked out in my cowboy hat, and he laughed at me, and that was it. There's the scene.
Yes, that is the same auditor that drove away your work.
Your
police
undersheriff died
department
of a fentanyl overdose.
from handling fentanyl.
And your
okay?
captain
He
and your
was
chief
intoxicated
deputy took
without
jobs
gloves.
in Rio Rancho.
That was devastating.
You can't keep your own office going, but you're going to run mine. Leave your mess here and start a whole new one.